Thank you for joining the Rixican Show in Moses Lake, Washington. It's Donnie Parker doing the technology today, and me voicing my opinion. I'd like to do a shout out to Ed. Ed let me borrow his chainsaw.
Mr. Ed?
Mr. Ed. Give him some peanut butter. I'm just kidding. He's not a horse. But my chainsaw was like messing up, and I was like, anyway, it was to the point I couldn't fix it anymore. And I was at the store looking at chainsaws, and I got a phone call, and he's like, "Just come, borrow one of ours." I was like, "Okay." So definitely saved the day.
Nice, thank you, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, because how much is a good chainsaw? $500,000-$600,000.
You should have borrowed my Milwaukee.
I have a Milwaukee chainsaw, but I needed something bigger.
Wait, I have the big one. Which one do you have?
I think the Milwaukee has a 16-inch, so I needed like something bigger. This was
like the biggest one they have. But they have like 4 different sizes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 16 is like the biggest one they make. Maybe they make bigger. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess you could Google that and find out how big does Milwaukee make it.
I'll just bring it over and we can compare sizes.
But so we're starting a sail and paddle, Moses Lake Sail and Paddle School, and have a property that we want to use, and had a fallen tree, and then this tree that was leaning like this, and as I go, and I was like, we just need to clean this area up, and we can stack some boats and kayaks and things, and make things happen. So we've spent the past week working on that, so we have the ability to do that. So, and hold on, let's turn the light on.
Yeah, you all got right in here. I can see your face.
In the dark.
If you can't tell, we're just kind of warming up. We took a couple months break because I was battling some really bad side effects of the cancer, and it wasn't ready for me. I came back without crutches. I'm now 1 month crutch free, and we got a pretty big schedule next week. A bunch of faces going to be on the show with you, Rick. Some you've had before, some you haven't. For the direction the show's going.
Yeah. So, Donnie, you say crutch free, but are you walking crooked or are you walking straight?
I got a limp.
All right.
I definitely have a limp.
Yeah.
It's better than having to be on the crutches all day long.
Yeah.
I was on them for 14 months.
Sounds terrible.
It was. I got blisters where I shouldn't get blisters. On parts of my hands, and
you have itching where you shouldn't be itching.
No, that's the thing. If you use your crutches wrong, you will get like a cauliflower thing that go into your armpit. You're not supposed to use your armpits. We got a shout out from Irish Swagger. What's up, Irish Swagger? We're in the chat. We see you here. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, late St. Patrick's Day, Mr. Swagger.
Very good. Let's see here. I think it was last week. Somebody had posted something like, "What restaurant do you want to see in Moses Lake?" And people are posting all these things, and then I did a post like, it's a little more complicated than what people think. You're dealing with population and what the income is of said population and all this stuff. And so a lot of things people wanted, I was like, man, these are like 10 years out. Anyway, I came across a little article that talked about several restaurants downsizing. And it was like Papa John's is closing 250 to 300 locations.
Wow.
Jack in the Box, Popeyes, Red Robin was closing 60 locations. Buffalo Wild Wings was closing locations. And I think people wanted a Buffalo Wild Wings here. And um, and it was like, what is the reason that a lot of these businesses
It's just in the U.S.
are consolidating? I don't know. I didn't dig that deep into it. It was just kind of a number that I saw, and I was like, it just kind of said, I assume it's U.S., but it could be worldwide. And it said the number one factor was lower income pullback. And I was like, okay, interesting. Now, it's not like I get to say what restaurants live or die. We all vote every day with our wallets what we want to support. And it was just interesting. I'm just observing and go, because I'm in this industry. I have a restaurant bar. It's interesting to see what, like St. Patrick's Day, our sales always go up. Granted, it's on a Tuesday. If St. Patrick's Day was on a Friday, Saturday, it rocks. It's like everybody wants to have fun. But during the week, it's harder. So from the restaurant bar side, it's kind of interesting to see how a holiday hits during the week versus on a weekend makes a huge difference. But anyway, I just kind of processed this. I'm like, okay, we got our 30 to 50,000 population, depending how you want to slice the county up. We are growing. And then I thought, there's a lot of industries that have trouble bringing employees or keeping employees in our area. And if you like to fish and hunt, you're like, this is paradise for you. But, you could stereotype and say, okay, that's the male side. What about the woman's side? How many of them want to fish and hunt? And so you're like, okay, or if you want the area to grow, all the different pillars that support the area have to grow together, because you have like community activities, education, the economy, and together all these things provide who's willing to risk and invest in the community. Like when we were, trying to build a new hospital, questions that was brought up is, we're having trouble keeping nurses, we're having trouble keeping doctors, and so they pay them a higher rate. Because my question was, why are some of the doctors getting New York City pay for a small town, Moses Lake? And their answer was, well, we have trouble keeping them, so if we pay them big city pay, they'll stay in the small town. And I was like, interesting. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or good or bad. Just that was the answer that I got. And I was like, interesting. And so I go through my little school of thought and go, okay, if that's what it takes to keep them, that's what it takes to keep them. I just didn't know. And so finally, someone had an answer or viewpoint that I was like, okay, that's what it is. But anyway, everything has to live together. The legs of the chair have to support the thing as it raises together. And so, from my perspective, and what big industry is going to do or bring into our community. But on the community standpoint, I can help facilitate or support, different activities that would perhaps entice people to consider Moses Lake as their home. Now, some people want to keep it small and stay that way forever. It's going to grow no matter what. Change is coming no matter what. And I know some of the people that want the old to stay, that's just the way our society is structured, it just doesn't sustain that way. Everything is based off of growth. The hungry hippo has to eat more and more. So under our current circumstances, I'm like, growth is inevitable. And so I kind of like to support those things, because I want to be, I want my community to be successful. But basically, the selfish side of me is like, can we bring in industry and businesses that attract people from other cities and towns to spend money in our community? So we're taking tax dollars that could have been spent elsewhere and bringing it into our community. So that's the selfish side. if all communities stood equal on equal ground, everything would kind of stay local and everybody would locally would rise. But, you know, the Costco is always the example, the battle for Costco. Um, and so before they had it in Wenatchee, you guys had to go elsewhere, right? And they put it in Wenatchee. Now you decide between the three. Um, the next one, you know, might be a Moses Lake area, or it could go elsewhere. So in the next 5 years, but let me back up. My point is, right now everybody's traveling an hour to an hour and a half to go to a Costco. That's like an anchor store. So you go to this place, and then while you pick that activity for the day, you're also got to be like, well, I got to eat. So do I eat at the Costco little place, or do I go out to eat? And then do I stop off at another store, kind of fill my day with shopping if I have the time? And so they'll hit 3 or 4 stores. And so some of that helps increase local spending at some mom and pop shops too. So it's kind of a win-win, because if they want to go out to eat and you have a local restaurant, there's a chance you will get a small percentage of the hundred of people, that extra people that came in that day.
Yeah.
So it kind of rises together. So right now people are traveling an hour and a half to an hour to go to a Costco. The next one put in, people will be driving a half hour. 10 years from now, people will be driving 15 minutes and they'll be like a Walmart, and you lost that anchor store ability because Walmarts are everywhere. And so it's lost its ability to pull from outside communities. So the sooner you get it, the better you are for an anchor store. But there's also a clock ticking, as things.
Well, I went out of town yesterday for a doctor's appointment, and we planned our meal, our Costco trip, like everything around the doctor's appointment since we were in Wenatchee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the anchor stores, but like even doctor's offices and stuff as well too.
So the more your hospital can provide. So because we built a new hospital, and they're like, oh, they're adding robotics, but we're adding very little to the services. Like, oh, so you can do an appendix now, or you can do this or that now. But if you need a few other specialty things, they're still going to be shipping you the Sacred Heart. We're not there yet. In my opinion, it'll be interesting to hear what the hospital side has to say about that. They're like, oh no, we do everything. I doubt it. You're still going to have to go to Wenatchee. Like, does the new hospital add 10% services more than it did before?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm guessing that's probably about what it is.
Yeah.
Because they're like, same number of beds. Beds aren't the issue to me, because you're getting a hip replacement and walking out the door like
3 hours later.
That day, that night. Like there's going to, at home healthcare I see is the future. We're getting more and more to wham bam, you're out the door. We don't need you there for a week, a month.
Yeah, I get a urinal stent replacement. That's stent from my kidney to my bladder. I'm there 3 hours and I'm gone.
Yeah. But my point is, with healthcare advancement, there's less and less time in those beds. So the beds aren't an issue to me. I know they use it for like what type of funding and this and that. If they do too many, we're not rural and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, it doesn't matter.
Really quick, Monica and Jeff say you guys are coming in loud and clear and doing good.
Thank you. And I was looking at like the nursing shortage.
Oh, she said hi, Rick.
Hi. The nursing shortage was my other concern. When I was researching this last couple years ago, it was like we're graduating 160,000 nurses a year. I think we were short like 1 million, maybe COVID, 1 million plus nurses in shortage. And then you had so many nurses retiring. When you graduate the 160,000, the first year you lose like 40,000 of them quit the first year. They're like, this is not what I signed up for. And in some cases, the ER can be like a war zone, and if you make a mistake, they're like, you killed that. Like behind closed doors, there's probably some comments made that are pretty, mean, don't ever come and help me. You're terrible. So people, it can be insensitive behind the scenes in the war zone that goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And so, because some people are like, I just wanted to help people, and now it's like yelling and screaming. People are seriously hurt sometimes, are dying, and so you lose people. The attrition rate, if I can say it that way, yeah, you're losing people off the first year. So got people retiring, whatever. So it's like, and then in the first 5 years, people are quitting. So it's like, of that 160,000, I mean, are you keeping half of them? And I was like, if you're keeping half of them, it's going to take you 10 years, 15 years to get back to zero, um, instead of negative a million people. And I was like, so I don't see that being solved anytime soon. And so, yeah, do you have to pay them more to get them out here? Because it's not like, anyway, just food for thought as we criticize um, these businesses and these things that we need. It's not a slam dunk deal, I guess, is my whole point to this. Um, it's always more complicated than we think it is. And like, hey, I'm happy we have medical care and so forth because you know every few years I got to go in and get stitches. Last year I got some stitches. A few years ago I nicked my finger on the table saw and get some stitches. I've seen broken hips. I've seen people chop their fingers off. Like I've seen crazy stuff. So I'm grateful there's medical care.
Yeah.
Um, I do stuff with the VA, and it's a little slow. Like, oh, I need a referral, and then they're like, okay, and then things take months for approval and appointments. And I'm like, man, you know, I guess I'm going to be limping around a while till this gets looked at, or um, and so I guess no matter what side you're on, there's always something that's going to be frustrating because there's very rarely do I see like a slam dunk, you know, deal, wham bam, in and out, super easy. Life is good, but here we are. What else is happening in Moses Lake? Moses Lake, Washington. So here's another tangent. You guys like oranges and fruits and stuff. Every like year, I have different people that come into my business to try to sell me stuff. And this guy comes in, and so maybe twice a year. I don't exactly know. He comes in from California or gets his produce from California. He comes up and he's like, I got oranges, grapefruits, he just, the 50-pound boxes of fruit. And he'll open them up and, you know, get a slice of this and slice of that. And you try it out. And then, anyway, so we bought a box of sweet grapefruit and a box of oranges.
Nice.
And
hey, and the nice thing
that's
about
what I was eating before we started.
nice thing about the oranges is they go great with the new High Five Hef that's on tap now. So come in and get an ice cold High Five Hefeweizen with a slice of orange in it, and it's just gonna make your day.
There you go. They're gonna put my oranges in. I just want to eat them.
Yeah, you gotta put a slice of orange in
You
Hefeweizen.
think I want to share my oranges with you guys?
Yes, you do.
I guess I'm sharing them. No, but they're pretty good oranges. But it's sometimes they'll give you a sample and you're like, yeah, but like it's just good. And the grapefruit, there are some sweet flavors. You always go to the store and they're like bitter. This one's from like Texas. And
I like grapefruits. How sweet is it?
This one's the grapefruit's not quite as sweet as an orange, but it's not sour like a grapefruit.
Oh wow!
So they got a sweet Texas something.
Interesting. Okay.
My dad had a grapefruit in California, and it was a de oro, a golden grapefruit. Anyway, it was really sweet like an orange, and he was so proud of it. But it was just the breed of it. But the stores kind of all carried the same thing, and they were always kind of bitter to me.
Yeah, I get that lemon face when I have them.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. I guess is it time to start your gardens? Like it's kind of been warm this year.
Well, it is, yeah, right now is definitely the time to
Time to
start.
start your gardens. Anybody doing some? It's been so warm this winter. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
I decided today I'm gonna actually start watering my grass now too.
Oh yeah,
Get a head start on it.
I guess is that important? Get a head start on your grass.
Yeah, I want green yard.
Yeah,
The neighbors are happy when it's green.
are they? I hate yard work.
Yeah, same.
It's like I'm like my dream house is like zero landscaping,
Right.
but there's really like even no such thing.
Bark.
Yeah, just bark, rock. Yeah, no weeds. Yeah, just anyway. But no, and I try to get the kids to do it. Like, hey, mow my lawn, pay you $20, whatever. Then they start, oh, they complain, and sometimes I have to do it. And anyway, just anyway, it's tough. Maybe if I'm too cheap, maybe I'll pay more. I don't know. Well, $20 mow my lawn, but uh, they'll mow it. But my one kid won't weed eat it. He doesn't like the weed eater, so it's like, how do I pay you full price if you can't do the full job?
You're pretty popular though this week. You got Pastor Gary Pierce going to be here on Monday. You have Grant County Sheriff Joe Creed on
Yeah.
Tuesday. You have Angel Ledesma from the or the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation on Wednesday. You have Carol Lewis, the superintendent of the school district, on Thursday. And then you have Isaac Jones on Friday.
Yeah, we got a full week next week.
Yeah.
Get things moving.
Isaac Jones, good job on the UFC. Yeah, you got some of your guys actually live on UFC now.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
It's huge.
For Moses Lake, we got people from our community on UFC.
Yes, sir.
Moving on up.
To the east wait, no. To the UFC.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him, how's that work? Because, is it the talent of his people or is it the coach? Do we flip a coin on that?
I have a coin.
All right, flip a coin. Is it the coach or is it the talent of the guys?
Let's see.
So this will prove what it is.
All right. So heads, it's the coach. Tails, it's the talent. Ready?
All right, go.
It is heads.
Heads.
It's the coach.
It's the coach.
Good job, Isaac. Decided.
Has decided.
And it is you that does it. There it is right there, everyone.
Yeah, it's the coach.
That's
I'm sure it's a combination,
oh, okay.
but that's kind of funny.
So we just spat in Fate's face, huh?
Maybe, or it was just fake. So if you're looking for the best MMA coach,
Isaac Jones.
Isaac Jones. Fate says it's him.
Sacred Scars.
Oh, scars. I don't want to think about scars.
Right?
I'm like, yeah, I got enough of those.
Look at my latest. See, can you see on the camera there? See that?
That's not a scar yet. Those are the boo-boos. Yeah, what'd you do?
I think it was a blood clot.
That's in your hand?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, cancer does weird stuff. Yeah, like you never know what to expect with cancer. Like walking outside with a blindfold on, you're gonna get hit by something. This was a baseball bat. Sometimes I walk into a leaf. You never know with cancer what it's gonna be. Because when I got this, it was really painful. Like I was putting pain relief gel on it. I was putting hydrocortisone on it. Whatever I could. I thought it was a sunburn at first. Then it started spreading to my other hand.
So it's contagious.
No.
It's like poison ivy. You see?
That gift keeps on giving.
Was it really a baseball bat, or was that a metaphor?
Metaphor.
I was like what? Is it the dent in your head? Is that from the baseball bat too?
No, we don't know what that's from. That's actually my doctor thought it was a tumor actually at first.
Jeez. Well, you never know.
With cancer, you never do know.
It's crazy how it spreads. It's weird, like they jump from organ jumping. I don't quite understand cancer. It just has
Metastasizing.
I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, I guess I'm fortunate that I haven't had to go down that
It
path.
started out in my only kidney, and then I went to my lungs, and then the lungs were cleaned up, and I went to my liver, and so everybody's like, "Oh, you must be drinking," and I don't drink. And then and my liver's cleared up, and then I went to my lymph nodes, and back to my lungs, and then I went to my femur, my bones. And I was like, how did we go from all this over to my bones?
I don't know. Does like when it breaks down, does it get in your like bloodstream and move around? Like
I
maybe like that. I guess we have the Cancer Foundation coming
got
up.
some questions.
Yeah.
Sure, on Wednesday.
Like, does it like just like go on tour in your body?
Angel, you got some question answered.
Yeah, it's like does it get on this train on your in the veins and whatever? And like
Hopefully, she can break that down for us.
it's just weird that it just like travels around.
Tell me about it. It's been the biggest mystery of my life, trying to figure out what to expect next, and you never know what to expect. How many times did I look like death walking?
Oh, geez, I'm surprised you're still here. And I'm, like I say, I have a terrible sense of humor when it comes to death, and poor
Yeah,
Johnny has to put up with my rudeness.
He had the death pool going on.
Yeah. And flip that coin again. We're gonna do a pull on Donnie.
All right, we're flipping the coin.
I guess. Do we need to plan for Death's memorial?
Yeah, on the coin. No point for you.
Like I say, I'm terrible. Flip this coin. Yeah.
I'm gonna make it out of this. I'm gonna beat cancer.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I
Just one more thing on my bucket list, right?
Yeah, beat cancer. Let's beat cancer.
No, it is now though.
It's the whole bucket right now. Right? Just beat
Right.
cancer. Because how do you do the other things in your bucket list?
No, it's not the whole bucket because I don't want to kick that bucket. You and your metaphors.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for the laughs.
Oh, let me check the chat. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat, folks.
Someone probably has some answers for us with cancer, but yeah, they're super ignorant to it. I know people get it, it's terrible, chemo and all this stuff, and isolating, get prone to sickness easy, you're queasy.
Yeah. Yesterday I came home from Wenatchee, and I felt tired as heck, but I knew I was gonna puke. I knew that was the first thing that was gonna happen when I got home, and sure enough, all my lunch went bye-bye.
Yeah, was that from the treatment?
Yeah, because like you just randomly, like you never know which meal you're gonna keep down.
Sheesh.
Yeah, like I said, it's a guessing game. Where'd the chat go?
I don't know. We need to change topics, so this is making me sick. It's so depressing. Cancer, but I mean, like we all know someone that's dealing with it and have survived it or in the process or waiting for the next round. And I guess it shifts your perspective on life.
Yes, it does. I don't know how many days I wondered if I was going to wake up the next day.
Yeah. Or how you treat your family or think of your family. Yeah, there's a shift. Like I'm assuming that would take place as, priority change, like how important are some things that you thought were important, the next business deal, and now you're like, you know what, that stuff doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Sorry, folks, I lost the chat, but I have it back now.
Yeah. So yesterday I went out to lunch. We went to Aromas, the Indian cuisine.
Oh, I wish I could eat there.
Yeah, and I always order 3 dishes. It's like usually 1 dish is enough, but I totally picked out yesterday.
Wait, really quick, Swagger, what are you saying with the sound? We haven't been right on the microphone. Is it better now? Go ahead, Aromas.
So I always get the chicken paprika.
Yes.
It's like some chicken kebab thing and some sweet curry thing. And I always get the chicken paprika. I get the lamb sog. And then
What's that bread called again?
naan. I always get the garlic naan. It's just the go-to one. They have some other types, but garlic naan is the go-to. And I got another dish. I can't think of the name of it right now, but but they have a lot of times, sometimes I'll get the shrimp Nirvana, but sometimes that runs a little sweet. But anyway, uh, and then we always be like, bring us an extra cup of rice, like rice, and just have a good time. And then somehow my workers at Rick's would be like, "Oh, since you're going to be at Aromas," uh, so we ended up picking 3 orders of chicken tikka masala to go
Oh, I
for
love
the
it.
staff.
Yeah.
So like it's just kind of funny, like one little trip turns into.
What's that drink I like there?
They have a mango lassi. Is that
Yeah.
what you're getting at? It's like
Yeah.
a yogurt drink. Um, and I mean, theirs is okay. There's other places I've been to that I was like, I thought theirs was a little bit better, but I mean, it's if you want a yogurt drink, definitely something worth trying. If you never had one, it's just something unique. Um, I guess to that culture, but yeah, just every once a month, I'm just like I want something different. Something that's not.
Speak of different. Is El Chile open back up? They were supposed to reopen.
So El Chile, my understanding is they're going to be doing the like booths, like they were at the farmers market doing stuff, pupusas, and I think they might be working with Favored Farmhouse to have.
They also told me they were opening another location, but that rent went up there too high.
I don't know.
So I love their food.
I don't know, but she was great, and she cooked like everything fresh and ingredients and so forth. So I mean, their little seafood.
Oh, chicken tikka masala is actually Scottish.
Yeah, it's not from India.
Irish Swagger chimed in on that. Thank you, Mr. Swagger.
I thought it was invented in England. Was it Scotland?
I think you're being challenged, Mr. Swagger. Is it England or Scotland? Look it up for us.
Google. Yeah, because it came out of Europe. That for sure we can agree on, and it's not true Indian, but somehow, England went into India, blah blah blah. We like how things come to the United States and we Americanize it. I think that's what happened there.
That came from the tea company. What was it called again?
The Dutch tea company or
the one that got tipped over in Boston.
So the England one, I'll say it wrong. I don't know. The Dutch tea company is the one that paid the people to dress up like Indians and toss the British boat. Now, I'm not recalling the name of England's tea company. But talking about the Boston Tea Party, it was not about taxes in the way we're taught. Because the English tea, they reduced the tax on it, making it cheaper than the smuggled tea from the Dutch.
Yep, so that the only way that you can do it is by it's the British East India Company.
The British East India Company. So
wait, Swagger came back to us. Yes, chicken tikka masala is widely considered a Scottish invented dish, specifically originating in Glasgow during the early 1970s.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Swagger. Yes, we were talking about East India.
We're talking about how I'm never wrong. So Scottish, very good.
British East India Company you were talking about.
Yeah. And then I turned it to the Boston Tea Party because that's where I went, because many things that we are taught in history, the narrative kind of changes with time.
Yeah, they taxed all the other teas.
So that
it was stupid not to buy from the East India Tea Company.
Yeah, when they reduced the tax, they kind of cutthroat the market, and the Dutch tea was too expensive, so they tossed the boat of the English tax tea to save. It was a corporate feud.
Yes.
corporate versus government, right? Kind of corporate versus corporate. One was backed by tax for the crown. But we're taught taxation without representation, da 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 da. So it kind of got spun. Just like the Civil War, another one that we kind of believe is taught in history books today. The Civil War was about slavery. Slavery was a social topic at the time, and then during the war, it became like, hey, if we free you guys, you'll fight for it. You know what I mean? Like it became more and more of a narrative as the Civil War went on. But the whole start of the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. But today we're taught the Civil War freed the slaves. It became a result like of it. But it's interesting because Rosa Parks, you know,
She had a car.
she had a car. She was never on the bus.
Yeah.
It was a young 17-year-old girl that was that that did the ruckus, and she didn't fit the narrative, so they did a little people swap.
Yeah.
So many things that we are taught about history isn't exactly true, but it's interesting. And here we're taught, learn history or you're doomed to repeat it.
Well, what's the history?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the victors that write the history books.
Yeah, his story, right?
Yeah.
But it's always interesting. And then I'm like, how much else are we being taught? Like, if we're presented information, you're absorbing it somehow, and so it gives you an impression of I don't care, whatever, but it's still an impression that's being presented to you. But if you're never told a truth in certain areas or never knew that something happened, it's just not on your radar at all.
Right.
So it's interesting just to observe. And this is one of the reasons I try really hard not to take sides on things, because I was like, I see information being presented, and I was like, okay.
Well, let's take the Holocaust, for example.
Okay.
Everybody says that, the Jews were in concentration camps, which is true, but it wasn't just the Jews. It was every race of every type. There was Russian concentration camps, there were American concentration camps, there were Dutch, there were German concentration camps. What it actually really ended up being was one giant science experiment. And I got that from traveling around with a Holocaust survivor who was born during the Holocaust. And he went in at a really young age into the camps.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's also, I guess, another weird topic, since we're on craziness, is the slave trade.
Yeah, oh yeah.
How many are from the United States?
Blacks were selling. They would actually go out and battle, and the soldiers that were taken as prisoners were sold into slavery by blacks.
Yeah, so you have black tribes fighting black tribes.
Yeah.
The winning tribe would take the other tribes and sell them into slavery. So you had blacks selling blacks. But my point is, how many blacks were Native Americans that never came by boat, that were already here, but yet they were taught that you came from somewhere else, that you're African, but they may have been Native to begin with.
Going back to Rosa Parks, Mr. Swagger said Claudette Colvin is the one you're thinking of.
Claudette, yes.
She was 15 years old but didn't fit because she was unwed mother. So they chose Rosa Parks to play the part.
Yeah, isn't that funny? They can just do a switcheroo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
so what was that? Ludacris that wrote the song?
Everybody moved to the back of the woods.
Yes. Push that for us.
I think there's some concerns about Dr. Martin Luther King as well, and it's like no matter what side you take, you're slightly wrong.
Yes.
It's either you're uninformed, you're
not told the whole truth.
You're misinformed, uninformed. It's like, man, it's so hard to figure out what's right.
That's why it's so important to own the information. That's why these really, really wealthy people own so many media companies because then they can advertise their companies on there and get more profits and whatever else they want to
I'm in the wrong business.
do. Media is where it's at, that's for sure.
It's so fascinating to me, like how we've been bamboozled,
So
or
many times.
you could be taught a truth, just one side of it, and not shown the other side. It's like
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors and all this stuff. Anyway, it's just interesting, and so a lot of times I try really hard to just take a step back and go, okay, they're saying this happened. Don't get emotional about it. Okay, this is what they're saying.
Oh,
Okay.
speak of truth, Ben Sellen, I was talking to him yesterday at the Business Expo, and not yesterday, the day before, sorry, on Tuesday. And he said when he comes on, he was hoping to do a little conspiracy theory if you're interested.
Hey, I'm always a sucker for a conspiracy.
All right, Friday, folks, we're going to have a little bit of conspiracy on here if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the views that are expressed on the show do not necessarily represent Rick or any of the businesses that sponsor the show.
Yeah. It's all for entertainment purposes only.
And speak of which, how's your car running today? Do you need an oil change? Are you having an exhaust leak? Maybe your brakes aren't working right. Brothers Automotive is your answer to all the automotive needs. 761-9744. Give Brothers Automotive a call. And they will not only give you a good estimate, they will stick by it and get the job done all the way through. Rick has used them several times, and his favorite thing is he calls them up, they pick up the car,
Yes.
and he doesn't have to adjust his day at all. They bring it back, and he goes about it about his day. Brothers Automotive, 761-9744. Give him a call today.
Yeah. I love the pickup thing. I make myself sometimes very busy. Was I chopping chainsaw this morning, drop off the chainsaw, show up here a few minutes late, and I'm like, oh, I got a podcast, and then I got more to do. And it's so sometimes I'm just busy. And so if you could take one hassle out of my day to pick up my vehicle, I'm like, that's a beautiful thing for me.
Irish Swagger said this. Denzel Washington said, if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. If you read the news, you're misinformed.
Yeah, so you're stuck. You're screwed. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That double-edged sword gets you, and it's so hard to know what the truth is. I kind of stand by this, and it's something I kind of learned in my near-death experience that I had was, as human beings, it's kind of impossible for us to recognize truth. And I could try to give a few examples of this. You could go into, Christianity, and there's a whole bunch of different sects in Christianity or any religion, and everybody's praying and they feel warm and fuzzy about it. And they'll be like, the LDS, the Jehovah's Witness, the evangelicals, Islam, whatever. They all like, oh, this is the truth. And I was like, interesting. How is it that, we get kind of stuck? Or what's the best diet to have? And somehow every so often science is like, oh, we figured it out. It's carnivore. Oh, no, it's vegan. Like, you can't figure out what the right diet is. You can't figure out all this stuff. And it's like, can I accept that I'm a human, Homo sapien, whatever you want to call it, that just because I'm in like the third dimension, I can't comprehend fifth dimensional things. It's just way beyond the scope of the human mind. And can I be at peace and not knowing everything? Or the little we think we know, can I take a step back and accept that I believe this, at the same time, I accept that I might be in error or wrong because of what humanity is. And just because, I think as humans, we think we're so smart. You're like 2 + 2 is 4. And we're like, we think we nailed it. or 1 + 1 is 2. And then I try to take a step back and go, okay, can that depend on what the object was that you're multiplying? Like if you took a man plus a woman and they have a child, you're like, does that equal 1? If they have twins, does that equal 2? If they have triplets, or if that woman has 6 children, 1 + 1, the multiplier or the result changes. You take a dog or a cat and get it pregnant and it has a whole litter. Like, how does that change the equation? But I think sometimes we're so stuck on, 1 + 1 = 2 that we forget that maybe what we're adding in life is more complex. Because we don't know. We can kind of, like, you may be able to guesstimate, but I don't know when a farm animal gets pregnant how many it's going to have until it has it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, my point is we're human and we think we're smarter than we are. That's my point to all this. And I think our ego, we want to be right. How many divorces and arguments we have because we want to be right? And so many times we're just humans trying to be right. And it really doesn't matter. And so I think I try to take a step back and go, well, what does matter? And I was like, well, maybe, love or kindness is probably the ultimate thing that matters. And it's a process because you start off as a young person wanting to be right all the time. And then we grow up and you get older and, you know, your parents are strict and they're trying to be right in this unknown world. And then you finally become a grandparent and you're like, you become an old softy. Instead of the strict parent, you're spoiling the grandkids because I think at some point you realize it doesn't matter. People are kind of who they are. Change is pretty slow. And, there's like, they've evolved to the point of love is all that matters. Let me spoil this grandkid type thing. So it's like, what can we contribute to the world? And hopefully, we're contributing something beneficial to our communities and all that. One of the things I think is kind of sad is we have less like volunteers in our community than we had before. And so, we live on a dopamine rush of swiping our phones all the time. And we don't get together as a community. And I don't know how to fix that exactly. I think the Latino community does a great job of coming together. I always give the example of a quinceanera. How many people show up to a quinceanera for a sweet 15-year-old? The moms get together, the dads are out barbecuing and they're talking, the kid, and then in the Western culture, we have a sweet 16 birthday party, pull up in front of the house, kick the teenager out, and we drive off. And maybe 10 kids, 5 kids show up to a Western 15-year-old birthday party. And I was like, interesting, like our community, I mean, yeah, it's culturally different, but we're not coming together. We're not getting to know our neighbors. We're just so busy, trying to survive, pay our bills that we're missing out on, I think, a lot of things. And so one of my silent goals is to add to the community. And I think that's why this sailing and paddle thing is kind of important to me. I'm like, can we get kids on the water? Can we get programs together?
Wasn't that the whole idea of the rap pool to offer a plethora of events and stuff that isn't happening already in the community?
Yes, and it's been a learning curve for me. Because my original idea was to provide a more kid-friendly place, but I am a bar. I'm a restaurant bar. So 99% of what I do is adult-based. So I had a flawed belief system in being able to provide activities for the younger people. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people that have baby showers here. There's weddings and
We just had a memorial
a
recently.
memorial, and so we do allow, underage minors to come in. I've had birthday parties here that, whatever, San Scorpions comes in, there's kids racing tricycles. Like, so we do activities.
You said doo-doo.
We do activities. But again, like in my ignorance, I thought I could do more of it. Now it just depends on the group coming in. If they want to do that, great, we accommodate it. But it's not something I'm going to go chase after and market, because 90% of what I do is adult based. But that was just like the, human nature, right? The flaw in my thinking. I was like, man, no matter how hard I try, this isn't gonna ever be like, and it's also profitability too. The younger generation doesn't have money. But as I thought about, maybe we can do an arcade, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. And in many aspects, I noticed that some things would be difficult to do a standalone business if you did just entertainment. So I noticed like the laser tag thing in town came and went. And so there's many activities that, even though people enjoy or may want, there's not enough demographic to support that. And so I thought, if I could have a little escape room, or if I could have axe throwing or a little thing, our small community could possibly support it more if I did it in-house versus renting a space, make it stand alone. It might not do so well. And that's the risk of being in a small town. And I got the mechanical bull. And if I add it to my business, I've had it in the corner for the last couple of months, because our Tahana night's been pretty busy. And so just for chairs and tables, I've kind of stuffed it in the corner. But I can pull it out, run a few weeks, and people will ride it. And people ask about it. But if you get 10 riders a night, that's not enough to have a standalone business, if that makes sense. But to supplement what I'm doing for entertainment, hey, it's my birthday, my great free ride, I think it's my birthday. You know what I mean? It helps and assists, but it's not going to be a standalone deal. People aren't traveling all over town and be like, let's go bull riding, if that makes sense. But you get onesie twosies, 10 people, whatever, that want to ride, and that's great. And that works for me. But do you see my point? If you rented a space just for bull riding, it wouldn't do so well. So, and that's just, trying to start businesses in Moses Lake, adding to our community.
Yeah.
Is a crazy thing. Well, let's wrap it up, folks. I've rambled long enough. Thanks for sticking with me.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Good shows next week. We got a lot of great people in the studio, so make sure to tune in and be ready to jump in the chat. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Brothers Automotive, thanks for your support. We will talk to you soon. This is Rick signing out.